All right, welcome back to another episode of Ask a Clutter Boss. I am Jess Marcy. I am your Clutter Boss answering your questions for today. This is a live show every Tuesday at 11:30 Eastern Time on YouTube. If you would prefer to watch the edited edition where we take out all of the comments from the back and forth with the the audience and we just edit it down, then you can tune in on Fridays at 2 p.m. when this is posted to YouTube as the edited version. As usual, we have some fantastic questions today. If you did not get a chance to submit your question, you can always put it into the comments, or you can fill out the form, or you can post it in our free Facebook group. It's all Clutter. In fact, if you are not in our free Facebook group, you should definitely head over there. It's a great place to find lots of support. Clutter Boss is completely judgment-free, and we uphold a very judgment-free, not just philosophy, but we actively are judgment-free. Our communities adhere to these very high judgment-free standards. So it's a great spot to land if you're feeling really overwhelmed by your clutter, or like nobody understands, or if you're feeling ashamed of your clutter, any of those things. It's All Clutter is a great spot to be. Good morning, Mary and Linda and Nancy. Hello, welcome to the live stream. All right, we're going to dive into our first question, which is a really, really difficult question. And unfortunately, there is no easy answer to this question, but it's something that a lot of our members struggle with. A lot of people in the world struggle with this. And that is, do you have any advice on my partner's marketplace bargain hunting addiction? Constantly buying things we absolutely do not need just because it was a good deal. We're renting and he's picking up sheets of wood, washing lines, bikes, tools when the tool shed is already full and there's literally nowhere else to store it. So it stays outside and gets weathered, rusted, ruined, and then he blames the landlord because we do not have a garage. I am at my wit's end trying to explain that it is his constant buying that we have no room for and we do not need, and that is causing everything to get ruined. I am stressed when we have house inspections because this is not the way that I want to live and not the house that I am proud of. I have talked to him and it falls on deaf ears, deflects the situation rather than accepting responsibility. This is so difficult. In the comments, let me know if this is something, if clutter has impacted your relationships, because clutter does impact many of our relationships. And as I said, there's just no easy answer here. It really comes down to, well, number one, I think the most important question is, are you safe in your house? Do you feel like your living environment is a safe? And normally when we talk about safety at home, we're talking about domestic violence. Unfortunately, we don't really talk about some very common safety issues that we have with things. Fire entrapment, tripping, things falling on you. These are all different issues that you can face when you have a lot of clutter in your house. So if your significant other is creating an unsafe living environment, then that is definitely cause to escalate this issue to the next level, whatever that is for you. If you maybe insist on counseling, if you maybe need to move out because it's not safe for you, you have to put yourself first. You have to take care of you before anything else. And if this is an issue that is unresolvable, then it really is a decision that has to be made. Is this something I can live with or something I cannot live with? And sometimes just getting space from the situation can be helpful. Just a little space from the situation. When communication is failing, it's time to think about other ways to communicate. So if you're having the same conversation all the time and it's not going anywhere, have you considered putting this conversation into writing it out? Have you considered bringing a mediator into the situation? Have you considered communicating in any different way? When somebody is collecting a lot of stuff, it's not about the stuff. It's not about the deal. I mean, there's a lot of psychological reasons why we do this, but usually it goes back to our childhood and the things that we learned and experienced as children. So addressing the clutter, which is the issue for you, is actually not the issue for your significant other. The issue is what is causing the clutter. It's like addressing the symptom, if you have a medical issue and not the underlying cause. So it's really complex. And unfortunately, and this is just like cold hard truth, this is the reality of the situation. It's really hard to get help for these things because a lot of medical professionals are not trained in any hoarding disorder or not really trained to help with this. But if you can find the right person to get to the underlying issues in a way that is resonates with your significant other, then there is a possibility of moving forward. Um, yeah, unfortunately, I can't provide an answer, but I can tell you that you're not alone. There's many, many people who are in this situation. You can always pull our communities to see if somebody has had success with a strategy um, that you maybe haven't thought of yet. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to you putting yourself first, making sure that your living environment is safe, and then seeing what the next step might be. Clutter takes a really so once you recognize that there's an issue, choose to take responsibility for it and start to tackle it, it is a long path forward. So it's not like the TV shows where it's overnight or it's really quick. It takes a long time to change. I would consider any step in the direction of accepting responsibility for the situation, um, understanding your point of view, that's really a step in the right direction. And I would be super, super encouraging of any step in that direction. So I think in my own life, there have been times where somebody has been the other person, the other party has been willing to acknowledge their what they're responsible for. But then my response has been something like, but that's not enough, and that's not a helpful response. That is not a helpful response. Encourage any positive change in that direction. The more that you can support wherever the person is at, the better. And it's really also difficult to be the person who's the support person because it's so easy for you to say, oh, hey, we can just throw this out, throw it out, throw it out. But that can be really traumatizing to the person with the clutter. So it's a fine line forward. There is a path forward. It's just not fast and it's not easy. So my heart goes out to you. So you find yourself in a very difficult situation, although not unique. So there is at least you can know you're not alone. Other people are struggling with this. Many millions of other people are struggling with the same thing. It's just the world that we live in. So I would definitely say get into It's All Clutter. Find support there. If your significant other does not choose to see a therapist or get support, I would suggest you find a therapist that you can talk to who can support you moving forward. Just figure out what your boundaries are with the clutter and how to navigate that. All right. So we started on a really heavy note there, but clutter can be really heavy and it can really impact our lives. And that's why we have this show. That's why we have our Clutter Boss programs to pull back the curtain on how impactful clutter is in our lives and to figure out how to move forward and address the situation in a way that is respectful of the human that is on the other side of it, because that is the most important thing. All right. Question number 2. If you're joining us, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. So nice to see you all. Emily and Debbie and Carrie, Linda and Bonnie. Good morning. Good morning. Question number 2. Decluttering progress was made. Congratulations. But what to do if it feels like it will never end? Okay. Cold hard truth time. It will never end. But, and this is a big, big, big caveat, it will get so much easier. So decluttering Here's the deal. As long as you are bringing stuff into your house, you are going to have to be releasing stuff from your house. You have to maintain that equilibrium, right? So stuff coming in cannot exceed the amount that is going out. And if it does, you will end up with clutter. So the fact that we have to declutter all the time is really it's a sign of life. It means that we're living, we're experiencing things, we are, doing different stuff, and that's great. Um, Decluttering should really, because we have stuff coming in on a pretty regular basis, we should think of decluttering as an everyday chore, just like laundry and dishes, right? You're wearing clothing every day, you need to wash laundry pretty much every day. You're eating every day off of dishes, you need to do dishes pretty much every day. You're bringing stuff into your house every day. You need to be getting stuff out of your house every day. And of course, over time, it doesn't have to be necessarily every day, but we just need to think of this as an everyday task because as a regular routine task, that is what it is. It is an opposite action to something that is happening in our homes. And to maintain equilibrium in our houses, we need to have things happen and then the opposite things happen. Take all the toys out, pick up all the toys, dirty the laundry, clean the laundry. It's just opposite. Bring in dirt, get out dirt. Like that is how it goes. So decluttering, because we never were really taught this as children, we don't think of decluttering as a routine thing until you start to listen to my podcast, take our courses, and really change your mindset about clutter and understand how, just how it has to be in 2024. This is how decluttering has to be, because we have such easy access to so much stuff. So we never learned this, right? Nobody ever said you have to declutter on a regular basis. Or if they did, you had, an unusual parent who was well ahead of their time. So I was never taught that you have to declutter on a regular basis. Most people were not taught that. And what that means is that you're now at a point in your life where the clutter has accumulated so much that to start decluttering is a really, really big undertaking. So it's like when you don't do your laundry for 2 months, doing the laundry is a huge undertaking. If you don't do your dishes for a couple of weeks, doing the dishes is a huge undertaking. If you don't declutter at the rate that stuff is coming into your house for many years, then the first big round of decluttering is going to take forever. Some things that you can do to make sure that you're speeding this up and not getting yourself into that same stuck position. Stop stuff coming in. As you are having a big purge from your house, as you're letting go, releasing a lot of stuff, getting back to living within your space, make sure that nothing is coming into your house. Because if you're bringing stuff in and also decluttering, but you're not living within your space, you're never going to get out of this situation. You have to stop the flow in and increase the flow out until everything comfortably fits. And then at that point, yes, you have to declutter for the rest of your life. Sorry about that. You have to declutter for the rest of your life, but it is no different than doing dishes or doing laundry. It's just a quick task every couple of days, every week, maybe even every month. I mean, for me now, I've been doing this for a long time. I live well within our space in our house. But when things start to, kind of get a little snug in a certain area, I'll take an hour or two, clear it out, declutter. So I probably declutter, I would say, a couple of hours here and there throughout the month. Not a big deal. It's obvious when it needs to be done. It's easy to do it. I know I don't have a lot of attachments to things anymore. My mindset has completely shifted. And it's just routine. It's just an everyday thing. So you will get to that point and it will be so much easier. Keep moving forward, keep releasing, and be very mindful to stop the flow of items coming into your house during this process to make it go faster. Oh, excuse me. Springtime is in the air here. All right, with that sneeze, we will move on to our next question. And actually, this flows really, really nicely into question number 3, which is the final question for today. How do I become more of a minimalist? I just own so much. All right, minimalism is a mindset first. It is a mindset first. If you own a lot of stuff and you want to become more of a minimalist, you really have to start embracing the feeling of freedom from owning less. It is like basically moving from a fear-based mindset, I need this because what if, to a mindset that is really rooted in I have everything that I need. I don't need more things. I can deal with any situation. I am resourceful. Um, I I can move forward without more stuff. And in fact, more stuff is just going to weigh me down. It's going to drag me down. It is going to impact my life negatively. It is really embracing this mindset first. Without that mindset, it is almost impossible to become more minimal with the stuff that you own. If you're always thinking, if I don't have this, then I'm not keeping up with the neighbors, keeping up with the Joneses, as they say. I need to get this because if you're always just in this, I must have the latest thing, the FOMO, like fear of missing out. If you're looking at lots of ads and you're really being sold to all the time, you have to shift your mindset. You have to really believe in yourself. You have to believe that owning less is so much easier. And once you start to believe that, experience it. Give yourself the opportunity to own less and see how it feels. Challenge yourself to save money instead of accumulating more Amazon charges. Challenge yourself to get out there and experience life instead of being at home with your clutter. Challenge yourself to embrace the mindset of minimalism, which is not just owning less. It is also, I think, personally, I mean, in my personal opinion, minimalism is freedom to do more. So when you have that minimalist mindset, challenge yourself to experience life more. It's also gratitude. Look around and feel so grateful. See if you can get that feeling of gratitude. Like I have so much. I am so grateful for what I have and for the ability to let go of things and still be totally fine. It's definitely more than just owning less. So thank you, Heather. That is my thoughts on how to become more of a minimalist. I really embrace a different mindset. It starts with how you think, and how you think translates to how you show up in the world and the activities that you engage in. Um, I don't think that I am necessarily a minimalist, but I can tell you that I have a life full of many different experiences. And people say to me oftentimes, like, I don't know how you have time for all of the things that you do. And it's not that I have time for all of the things that I do, it's that I don't do a lot of other things that take time. Like you may notice, I very rarely wear makeup. That takes time. I just don't want to devote my time to putting on makeup every day. I very rarely wear, if you go back and look across all of my podcasts, like 4 years of podcasts, you'll see pretty much the same outfits all the time. I don't have a big wardrobe because that takes my time and my money. There's a lot of things that I just don't do because I value the experiences that I have in my life so much more. Like I have a farm, I have two children that are very involved, whatever. I mean, I do a lot of things, and the only way that I can do what I do is that I don't do a lot of other things. I don't watch the news basically ever. Not to say I don't know what's going on in the world, but I don't devote time to watching the news every single day. I spend a small amount of time catching up on what's happening. I don't get involved in politics at all because I don't have time for that. That is a for me, that is a huge time suck. Um, I really respect other people's opinions and points of views, and I don't spend a lot of time challenging them because they are free to live their life however they want. I really, I see many people, especially on the internet, wasting time just arguing with strangers that they don't know. Who You don't need to do that. This is a mindset thing though, and it's taken me a while to get here. I wasn't always this way, but once you start shifting your mindset around the stuff, it's also about your time. And you learn a lot about yourself and a lot about who you want to be and what you want to do. So, okay, long-winded answer on minimalism, but that is, I don't get my nails done. It's another thing. I went for a pedicure once this year so far. No, twice this year so far. And I regretted it both times because it just takes so much time. It takes so much time. But there's just so many things that I just don't do because they take my time. And I would rather spend my time creating a life that I love every single day. And there was a line that I read, we quoted it recently in one of these or in a maybe a Monday morning motivation. Um, Spend time creating a life that you don't routinely want to escape from. That has resonated with me so, so, so much. And I am guided by that on a daily basis. And that is a lot to do with my thoughts on minimalism. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up now. We're beyond the 20-minute mark. And I hope this was helpful. This is, once again, Ask a Clutter Boss, your weekly decluttering advice show where we cover all sorts of topics like minimalism, dealing with spouses who have clutter, all of these type of things. If you have a question for next week, make sure you submit it before next week. And I hope to see you in a call or a program or a Facebook group later on this week. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Go toss out 20 things. You can do it. Sending you love. Bye for now.